So this was a little weird. So I had to replace the engine control unit because it was doing very odd stuff to the car. This is a diesel, so the intake manifold has flaps just to change airflow to either slowly enter the engine when you're at high speed or quickly enter it while you're at low speed. So it's got this little motor on the side of the manifold and it will switch. Motor uses 5 volts only as the maximum, and then it's got 2 others that are regular 12 volts or charging voltage, which is 12 volts to 14 volts. I was getting 5 volts, and then I get 14 volts, and I get 7 volts, and I get 0 volts, and I get 3 volts, and I get 5 volts, and I get 12 volts on the circuits that were only supposed to be 5. The connector, it's a direct path. There's no fuses or nothing involved. It goes straight to the control unit. Before I replaced the component setting the fault, I found that voltage not being correct. That's what made me go, all right, I'm not necessarily dealing with a component failure. I'm dealing with a control unit failure and or wiring failure. I checked it running, and then I turned off the engine and just had the key on. I checked it like that, all connected still. While the engine was off, I disconnected the connector from the motor of the intake manifold, tested it again, all was the same. And then I tested from the connector of the component to the connector of the engine control unit, same. So the wiring, I ruled the wiring out as the problem. I went to some of our resources and found that for certain, it's a 5-wire. The 2 wires are only supposed to be 5 volts. So because I didn't have 5 volts and I had something greater than 5 volts, the only left thing was the control unit. And unfortunately, the placement of this control unit is not great. It's getting leaked on because of the windshield, the water, rain, car wash, what have you. The cowl that I've taken off that sits across here and it plugs into this piece at the bottom, they age. They're plastic, so it dried up and it actually allowed water to get in here. And I mean, just visually, I know that this is a brand new control unit, but you could just see, and just how much debris is on this. So it's just getting wet. And this here is a vent. So let's see how this one spins a little bit. This one's probably got grit and stuff in there, but that's the vent, or like heat. You can let heat out of it. And if this floods, this area back here floods like it has, you can see, if it fills up with water with here, it'll just enter the vent and then it'll just flood the control board. I haven't taken this apart. I'm going to open it because I want to see it, but it definitely got water in here. And then there's signs in here. Some of these bigger blades are definitely corroded. And then I had a bunch of other issues. I had a whole mess of faults. So I put this in, we programmed it, everything went successful, and I've actually lost a bunch of faults that it had, which is good, meaning that it was compromised more than just the intake problem. I actually had, so it had a bunch of exhaust faults, which is not great to have on this engine because it's kind of a pain to do a regeneration, which is the cleaning of the exhaust. But all of that is gone. I've driven it a lot already, none of it's returned, but what did return, not the check engine light, but the fault for this component did return. And now I've tested it again and the wiring is good this time. So what I think has happened now, because of the failure, because it sent greater voltage than it's supposed to have, it burnt this motor out. I don't know if it backfed because of the water or it just sent too much voltage down there and it physically burnt the contacts in the motor. So like I said, I just tested it. All the wiring is good now. So we're gonna sell this motor for the intake manifold as the total fix. Even though it's not causing the check engine light, I would assume at some point it will. So that's where I'm at with this one. So sometimes this is the way it has to go. If I replaced the motor for the intake manifold, it would have never fixed it. It would have just been having the same fault, same issue, just constantly because the control unit was bad. But what I'll do is I'll sell the motor and I'm gonna actually price out a new cowl so that way we can prevent the water from coming in. And what's very odd is all these connectors, they have weather pack in it. So I'll pull this one out just for this easier. There's a little bit of pink in there, but it's actually a little white gummy below the pink in there. That's actually a seal. You can see it up here, up there, yeah. So that seal keeps water out of here. In the back end of the connector, you'll see the 3 reds and the yellow down here. That's keeping water from entering this direction too. You can see the nice clean copper in the pins in the center. All of these out here, all of these, they all have it. anything that's in the bay, these ones have some serious weather protection on the engine control units. We don't have so much moisture present in the atmosphere like other states, other parts of the world, but nonetheless, you don't need any corrosion inside your control units. So gotta put it back to the customer to see what he wants to do. I actually had another couple, they lived inside of the RV, and they stayed in Oregon for like 2 months, and it rained all the time, right? They were saying that when they would, make breakfast, sit down at breakfast, the inside of the van would be all condensated, like the windows all like foggy. It was actually from them just being inside. So all their breath and the moisture on the outside, it actually got into the control unit too and corroded it. And we could see it because it was running on the inside of the windshield down behind the dash, and then it would hit the fuse box. The suggestion we had to tell them is that they had the little the roof vents where you spin it and the vent opens and it has a little fan in it. We're like, you need to use that so you can blow all this moisture out from the interior. A lot of other brands, they'll actually stuff the metal portion inside the air box for the AC. So as you turn the AC on, it's cooling it off. It's keeping it regulating the temperature. A lot of brands do that. Even domestic stuff here, like Ford and Chevy, they do that. But yeah, this is just kind of an odd setup. I would not assume we're leaking from the windshield seals, if you will, but I would blame the cowl. This cowl's filled with debris, so I'll clean that out too to help out the other one. But that cowl, see all that coming out of there? So that doesn't really help out either, because the other piece clips into here, and the theory is the water will just bypass and run out. But if we're not sealed here, it doesn't hit this drain vent and it just goes right into this portion, which it definitely is. I mean, I could see a water line right there. The government puts a lot of pressure on the car brands. They have rules for mileages, they have rules for emissions, they have rules for weight. They got a lot of standards that these companies need to abide by. So in order to hit a specific weight of this class, so if you want to call this a compact car, it needs to weigh in a certain range, right? It's very strict. It's very strict. So for a long time, every brand had to have an EV fleet, a hybrid, and then compact, subcompact, sedan, and whatnot in order to sell here without paying a specific taxes or whatever. This is all this plastic is coming from pressure from the government. It needs to weigh this much. It needs to have this amount of mileage, gas mileage. This is how they lighten up the car. Now, in some things, plastic is better, right? So fuel tanks, you don't want metal fuel tanks because they just corrode on the inside and it just destroys the fuel pump, but then it sends all that metal into the motor and it kills the motor. So there's certain things that change the plastic, which is a big benefit. Plastic doesn't do well with heat. So as things warm up, heat, they warp. That's what I would assume happened to this cowl, especially if it's here in Phoenix, it's hot. That would be my guess. So that's the good and the bad of plastic. It's good for corrosion properties, but it's bad for warping and breaking and cracking. Peel this thing apart. That's that vent I was talking about, which I think is the culprit of letting the water in, because the connectors here are really sealed up with that water line all the way. And then you can see it's circular around there, all around here. Let's see if I can wipe it away. There it is. But all of this stuff right here, it's it's running from all these control units, but here's a group of them. That's all individual wires. So if you get water on that, it's gonna make them all cross. If the customer is interested, I wanna show him, you know what I mean? He can understand a little bit more as to maybe why I'm quoting the cowl piece over the top of the windshields, because it's gonna prevent that.